I've been working my way through chapter 2 of Bereshit, the book of Genesis, looking at the Hebrew grammar from an inductive analytical perspective. And we stop at verse 7 last time. After the Lord created mankind, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and he became, became a nefesh chaya, a living soul. So now I'm picking up at verse 8. Vayata Adonai Elohim gan be'eden mekedem vayasem sham et ha'adam asher yatzar. That is, and the Lord God planted a garden in Eden, eastward, and placed there the man which he had formed. Notice vayata is a pay noon verb from nata, to plant. It's a cow imperfect third masculine singular from nata with a vav conversive or consecutive, and the Lord God planted. Notice natan means to plant, and so yin ta became yitta, where the noon of the pay noon verb has assimilated by progressive assimilation into the tet. So the Lord God planted the Garden of Eden. God is a gardener as well as a potter. Eastward, vayasim, and placed there the man which he had formed. Notice vayasim is from sim, to place. It's a cow imperfect third masculine singular from sim, the middle weak verb, and the vav turns it over and puts it into the past from the imperfect, the vav hafek or the vav conversive. And he placed there the man asher yatzar, which he had formed. We're continuing to see the image of the potter. He placed man there that he had formed. Vayatzmach Adonai Elohim min ha'adama kol eitz nechmad lemar'eh v'tov lema'achal v'eitz ha'chayim b'tok hagan v'eitz hada'at tov v'ra. And the Lord caused to spring up or to grow from the ground of every tree that's pleasant for appearance or sight. Notice vayatzmach is from samach, to spring up. And here we have a hifil, imperfect third masculine singular from samach. So the Lord God caused to spring up from the ground every tree nechmad lemar'eh, that was pleasant to the sight. Notice nechmad is a nifal participle masculine singular from chamad, to be present or to be pleasant. V'tov, that which was pleasant for the sight, v'tov lema'achal, and good for food. V'etz ha'chayim b'toch hagan, and the tree of life, or the tree of life in the midst of the garden, v'etz hada'at tov v'ra, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. In other words, the Lord is placing in the garden several trees. First of all, every tree that is pleasant to the sight, and every and good for food, and there's the tree of life. And this is important because in the fall, the tree of life will be lost, and it will come back in the New Jerusalem of Revelation chapter 21 and 22. And notice he goes on, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Good and evil is a term that's often used when one comes to the age of accountability. We see this in Isaiah chapter 7. Before the child knows good and evil, this land that's being invaded, Isaiah said, will be, those that are invading it will be forsaken, or they will no longer be able to do it. So the knowledge of good and evil is probably looking at when one comes to really understand the age of accountability, so to speak, knowing what is good, knowing what is evil. Then he goes on, V'nahar yotze me'eden lahakshot et hagan umisham yipared v'hayala arba'a roshim. That is, a river was going forth from Eden. And notice Yotze is a cow participle masculine singular with the holem and the seri vowel pattern. So a river was going forth from Eden to water. Le hashkot et hagan. Shaka means to water. Here we have a hifil infinitive construct. Notice with the hay and the pathak underneath the hay and the lamed prefix. So it was going forth to water the garden. Umisham yipared v'hayala arba'a roshim. And from there it was parted. Notice yipared is a nifal imperfect third masculine singular from parad. And that dogish in the first radical, the pei, shows that a noon has assimilated. Yin parade became yip parade with the doubling of the pei by the noon assimilation, by progressive assimilation. And it became 4 heads. For Chaya, notice Chaya is the cow perfect third masculine singular from Chaya. Then Shem Ha'achad Pishon. The name of the one was Pishon, Hu HaSovev et Kol Eretz HaHavilah Asher Sham HaZahab. That is, notice the name of the first river was Pishon. It is that which goes around all the land of Havilah, where there is gold. Notice ha-sovev is the definite article followed by the cow participle masculine singular in savav. Notice the holem and the seri indicative of a participle. So the name of the first was Pishon, which goes all around, which goes around all the land of Havilah, and there where there is gold. And then Uzahav ha'aretz ha'hitov sham ha'bedolah ve'evan ha'shaham. Notice here, or shoham, excuse me, ha'shoham. Notice here the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone, or the stone of onyx. So the gold of that land is good. B'shem hanahar hasheni gihon, hu hasovev et kol eretz kush. The name of the river, the second river, was Gihon. It is that which goes around or encompasses all the land of Cush. And notice here, Sovev is again a cow participle masculine singular from Savav. And this goes down into Egypt, the area in the south. And then Vishem Hanahar HaShelishi Hideko Hu HaHolek Kidmat Ashur V'Hanahar HaReve'i Hu Farat. Now the name of the third river is Hideko, which would be the Tigris. It is that which goes eastward to Asher, or toward the east of Asher. Notice here, Holek is the cow participle masculine singular from halak. It is that which goes east of Ashur. And then we have the next, which would be ancient, which became Assyria. And then Vahanahar Harevi'i Hu Farat. And the name of the fourth river was the Euphrates. So it's describing the Fertile Crescent, or the first area of creation where it all started. Then we move on to the next verse. Vayikach Adonai Elohim et ha'adam vayanihehu v'gan Eden le'ovda u'le'shomra. That is, the Lord God took the man and placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to keep it. There's even work before the fall. Some people ask, what will we be doing in eternity, in a new heaven and new earth? And I'm assuming we'll be busy. At least this could be implied by what original creation looked like. Notice Vayikach, and the Lord took the man. The root is lakach, and here we have the lamed by progressive assimilation going into the kof. So the Lord God took the man, vayanihehu, the man, and put him, or caused to place him. The root is nacha, with a final hey, to place or put. And here we have a thematic a vowel under the yod, followed by the tseri, and the hey of the root has elided or dropped out. And so the hu is a pronominal suffix, third masculine singular. And so it placed him in Gan Eden, le'ovda u'le'shomra, to work it and to keep it. Notice le'ovda, here we have an infinitive, two infinitives, to work it and to keep it. And is your pronominal suffix, third feminine singular. So these two cow infinitives are describing what man did. In other words, his goal was to work the garden and to keep it. And then Vayetzav Adonai Elohim al ha'adam lemor mikol eitz hagan achol tochel. That is, the Lord commanded, the Lord God commanded concerning the man, saying, from every tree of the garden you may freely or surely eat. Notice here, as we look at this, Vayetzav is from Tzava, a final lamed hey verb. It's the cow imperfect third masculine singular from Sava. So the Lord God took the man, or commanded to command. The man Lemor saying, here we have an infinitive, Lemor saying, Mikol eitz hagan achol tochal. From every tree of the garden you may indeed eat, or surely eat. Notice achol is a cow infinitive absolute used with tochel. Has an adverbial use here. You may indeed or surely eat. Tochel is a cow imperfect, second masculine singular from achal. And then we go to the next verse, verse 17, which reads, Ume eats, but Hada'at tov v'ra lo tochel mimenu, ki biyom acholcha mimenu mot tamud. Here we have a warning. From the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, but, this is a contrastive use of here, the vav, but from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, hada'at tov v'ra, lo tochal mimenu, you shall not eat from it. Notice tochal is the cow imperfect, second masculine singular from achal. You shall not eat mimenu. This is from min and hu. And by the way, what has happened, the noon of the min from has assimilated into the mem, the second mem, by progressive assimilation. And then en hu, your pronominal suffix, third masculine singular, by reverse assimilation, has gone back into the mem. And the vowel here, the sigol, en, is like a hinge. So min, men, hu became mim, men, nu. So you shall not eat from it, ki biyom ha-holcha mimenu mot tamud. For in the day of your eating from it, mot tamud, you shall surely die, or indeed die. Mot, again, is another cow infinitive absolute, and tamut is the cow imperfect, second masculine singular from mut. So in other words, you shall not eat of that tree, for in the day that you eat of that tree, you will surely die. And you know, it's interesting, the Lord gives man and women, or men in the first pair, Adam and Eve, a beautiful garden, wonderful food, wonderful aesthetics, very beautiful in every way, except that one command, don't eat of this particular tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And that is what humans seem to go after. Even though God gives people everything, there are certain rules that he has. Don't do this, that's a no-no. And yet human nature wants to do that very thing where the Lord has said, don't do this. And so this is what happened in Adam, and this resulted in the fall. And we see that in chapter 3. So this is preparing the way for the fall in chapter 3, which we'll plan to do later then, and continue working through these great texts.